If your heel is lifting engineer boots, it's easy to panic and think that is wrong. But I want to start with this. Most heel slip is not a setting problem, and if you fix it the wrong way, you can mess up a fit that's actually cracked. Today I'll show you how to figure out what kind of heel slip you really have, and how to fix it without overcorrecting. Heel slip can feel like the same problem every time, but it can come from a few different things. And during break-in, those different causes can feel almost identical on foot. And if you jump straight to setting down or stacking pads, you might solve one issue and create a worse one. When I first wore this pair, I thought the setting was going to be easy, because I own multiple traction boots, and in my experience, their setting is usually pretty consistent across pairs. So when I went with the same side I normally wear, I wasn't expecting noticeable heel lift. But the first time I walked around with this, my heel was lifting more than I expected, and it made me pause and question feet. Now, that doesn't automatically mean the boot is too big. What it means is I need to figure out where the boot is or isn't holding my foot, because heel slip can come from different causes that feel identical at first, and once the leather started to settle around the instep and shaft, the heel slip eased up too. That's why I don't jump straight setting down. This is not as just sets down with you. Setting down can fix one type of heel slip, but it can also create worse problems, like toe crunch, numbness, or a boot that never truly gets comfortable. Instead, we're going to identify the type of heel slip you actually have, then start with the least aggressive fix that works. The goal is simple: stable heel, locking the instep, and no new hotspots. You can feel a little lift, but your foot isn't sliding inside the boot. Early heel lift is usually caused by stiffness, not because the side is wrong. In the first few wears, the leather and the structure don't flex smoothly with your stride yet, though the boot moves more like a rigid piece, and your heel can lift slightly. Also, snug instep doesn't always mean the heel pocket is fully locked in. You can still have a little space back there until the boot softens and moves. You'll notice your toes creeping toward the front, and your heel lifts because your foot isn't sitting where it should. This usually happens when the instep isn't locked down, or there's been too much room at the bottom foot, so your foot slowly migrates forward as you walk. It feels fun standing still, but after a few minutes of walking, you start feeling toe pressure and the heel slip gets worse. This is when your foot isn't really being held in the boot, even before you start walking. The length can be perfect, but there's too much space around the instep and heel pocket, so the boot never truly locks on your foot. It's more like your foot is sitting inside the boot with a little air around it. That's why the heel keeps lifting, because the heel pocket never gets a solid hold. Strap the how you actually wear it, not loosely buckled. Stand up and shift your weight forward like you're taking a step. If your heel lifts a bit, but your toes stay comfortable, and the boot feels secure at the instep, You likely have normal new boot slip. Walk 10 to 20 steps. If you feel toe pressure building and the heel slip gets worse, that's your foot sliding forward. And when you stop, check if your toes feel closer to the front than they did at start. Tighten the instep strap to a normal firm setting. If your foot still feels like it's floating inside the boot, that's excess volume. Early on, heel lift often feels worse because the leather still holds its shape. As the instep softens and the shaft relaxes, the boot starts gripping your foot very differently. So a fix that feels necessary on day 3 can be too much on day 30. That's why I always start with the reversible solutions. A lot of people cinch the strap down tight, thinking it will lock the heel. Sometimes it works, but it often just creates a pressure point and still doesn't stop the foot from sliding forward. What you want is firm instep contact, not pain. If the strap is maxed out and heel slip is still big, the strap isn't the real solution. This sounds basic, but it's one of the simplest ways to dial in volume. A slightly thicker sock can reduce foot slide, increase friction, and help your heel sit deeper in the pocket. The key is consistency. If you're breaking boots with thin socks, then switch to thick socks. The fit feels different. Pick a sock thickness and stick to it during break-in. If your foot is sliding forward and you feel space under the arch, a full insole can stabilize your foot and reduce movement. If the length fits perfect and you don't want to lose toe room, a thin 4-foot insert can work better than a full insole. You are trying to stop the forward slide, not fill every empty space. Here's where people mess up. A heel pad and heel grip do different jobs. A heel pad adds height, which can reduce slip by setting your heel differently, but can also increase pressure. A heel grip reduces space in the heel pocket, but if your foot is sliding forward, a heel grip alone can cause rubbing and blisters because it creates friction in the wrong place. So if you have toe grip, fix that first with a sock or insole, then consider a heel grip. Sitting down just to eliminate slip, then hoping the pain will disappear. If your toes are crowded now, it usually gets worse after a long walk. Stacking too many pads at the heel. This can push your foot forward and create new hotspots. Forcing breaking with long walks when the boot is still sliding. If your foot is moving around, you're basically sanding your skin. So if you're dealing with a heel slip, here's a simple order that usually works. Choose your sock thickness and stick with it. Then set the instep strap the way you actually wear it. You're trying to stop your foot from drifting forward and keep your heel seated, not just crank the strap down for looks. If heel slip is still noticeable, and you can feel your foot creeping forward as you walk, try a thin insole or half insole. It helps keep your foot from drifting forward inside the boot. Only if your foot feels stable in the boot, but the heel still lifts too much, then consider heel grip. It's a small adjustment, not the main fix. If the slip is minor and is proving on the wear, don't overcorrect. The leather will relax, the install will settle, and the boot will start holding a foot more naturally as it breaks in.